Hey there gang, Kawaii50 here with another Fake Grand Order video, and I'm sure you may have noticed with the recent summer event that there's a lot of banners. A lot of banners coming out relatively close to each other. And considering A, I'm already behind because of real life work things, and two, you're just going to have to watch a lot of stuff if I do things separately. I am going to do an overall banner breakdown for all of this Arctic Summer World event. We're going to be looking at every single character on every single banner fairly quickly to help you make an informed decision when it comes to summoning. Now, of course, there are 2 banners already out at the time of this video, 1 still yet to show up, so you may be waffling on spending some of your St. Quartz or just want to feel a little more secure in the decision you made. Regardless of your reason, I hope this video ends up helping you out and entertaining you. If it does, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, etc. All those things will really help me out as I try to get to 10k subs by the end of the year. And I really appreciate everyone who's been subscribing to help meet that goal. Alright, that's enough of our initial intro. Let's take a ganderino at these banners. So let's start talking about these first 2 characters on the first banner we got. And no, I'm not going to be mentioning any craft essences. I just don't think any of the CEs make enough of a splash, pun intended, in order to have me mention them. So out of respect for your time, let's just take a gander at the characters. We've got Gareth Saber as our 4-star offering and Lady Avalon as our 5-star offering. Now there's something I just want to get out of the way off the bat. There is a lot of hate for Summer Gareth, and a lot of people consider her the worst 4-star Buster Servant we have ever gotten. I honestly feel like this is very overblown. A lot of this comes from Gareth not necessarily being able to loop. So Gareth's natural NP charge is fairly low, and that ends up hurting her when it comes in the face of a lot of other servants that are just coming out of the gate with 50 to 100% NP charges. But this doesn't necessarily mean Gareth is bad. Gareth is alright. She's got some solid buff increases to her Buster performances. She's able to debuff herself on attack at a penalty, but that still is fine. Burn is not a big issue to deal with. And she's got the ability to increase both her Buster and Arts performances, which are her 2 primary cards. And the Buster cards hit for 4 hits. Overall, it's pretty good, and she's got a fairly solid Noble Phantasm. Is she one of the best characters we've ever gotten? No. Is she comparable to anyone on offer on this summer banner? Any of these new summer characters? No, she's probably still at the bottom of the barrel in that respect. But when it comes to absolutely all characters, I think the hate for Gareth Summer is fairly overblown. Now, Lady Avalon, on the other hand, is going to be the main thing you're going to want to get if you're rolling on this banner. She's a Pretender class, so already very few of those, massive kudos, and she is essentially the equivalent of an Arts Merlin. For the newer players and the uninitiated, Merlin, in the way that he plays in the game, is a very powerful Buster crit support servant that ends up giving your characters an insane amount of survivability. He's got HP regen, he's got a party-wide invincibility, and he can also generate critical stars every single turn thanks to his Noble Phantasm, which stacks with any craft essences. Merlin, in this incarnation, ends up acting pretty much the same way. Able to grant attack increases, charge the party's NP gauge, she comes with a nice little bonus of an overcharge bonus, and she's got that standard give everyone invincibility, increase everyone's arts card effectiveness and critical damage, and Winds of Avalon overall just helps everybody continue to stay alive. Basically, almost identical to what our main man Merlin has on offer. I would say even if you have a Castoria, if you are looking for a servant that is more focused around providing support for longer form boss fights, Lady Avalon might be worth an investment. If you've got enough support for your Castoria and she's super developed, then you will probably still be able to get by with just a Castoria because that invincibility she has on offer is no joke. The invincibility is still tied to her Noble Phantasm, however, so if you're looking to either buff up a servant who you're not confident can single target loop, or you just want a little more security when it comes to an invincibility, Lady Avalon is probably going to be someone you're going to want to summon. Of course, I've got to mention the male servant banner, and I think everyone on offer here is still a very, very good servant. We've got Ashia Doman, Yon King, and a rate up on our 3-star Asclepius. I still largely consider Dolmen the best alter ego in the game. I use him all the time. His ability to curse enemies cannot be underestimated, and if you want to run a fun evil-themed team, well, Doman is able to provide that and grant all of your chaotic evil characters buffs. If you don't want to do that, well, Doman's chaotic evil, so at least Doman is increasing himself to the moon with all of his buffs. He is a very, very potent servant, tons of potential for curse damage, able to stay alive with his own guts, a very powerful Noble Phantasm charge. Overall, Doman is an incredible addition to any roster. Now, players that haven't been paying attention to buffs may still consider Yon King the bottom of the barrel. However, because of his widespread popularity among the female fanbase, and honestly anyone who enjoys a good-looking guy like Yon King, I shouldn't be super-duper presumptuous, but because of Yon King's popularity, Shima Udon's magnificent illustrations, this man has of course received buffs, and received quite a few powerful buffs to boot. He is now essentially a single-target quick destroyer, able to shred your enemy's quick resistance, which is fantastic, increase his own quick performance, which he wasn't able to do before, as well as, absorb a ton of stars and increase his NP regeneration rate so he can refund his Noble Phantasm off of a quick chain and go ahead and do it again. Yon King overall is an incredible pick if you are looking for a single target quick shredder in the assassin class. He's really come far in comparison to the past. And Asclepius is just great for anyone who needs some sort of healer. What he does is simple, it's effective, it's to the point. Overall, a truly magnificent doctor to have on your team. And this next banner is the one I was most excited for personally, and that is going to be the banner of Ibuki Doji Berserker and Utsumi Aris Avenger. Let's get Aris Avenger out of the way. This is just essentially an overall better version of her freebie variant. Now, you won't get a free NP5 out of the deal, unfortunately, but what Aris has on the table is fairly impressive at the end of the day. She's got a solid bit of evasion, she's got an arts performance boost, she can of course curse just like Doman, and while she has a neat little instant kill success bonus on her 3rd skill, you're not really going to see that proc. That's mainly going to be for any of your lower ranked enemies. What you want her for is the fact that she is a servant destroyer. She will deal an additional 25 to 35% damage against servant enemies, and that works on everyone. Even those who are, for example, resistant against Enuma Elish, which used to be one of the absolute best ways to deal damage to absolutely any servant. So if you have that Gilgamesh command code where you deal extra damage to enemies affected by Enuma Elish, you might want to consider moving that over to Aris. I think that's going to be a 200 or even 3,000 IQ play for you. There's not really much more I can say about Aris. She is designed to be a servant shredder, and a servant shredder she is. If you want to throw enemies into the meat grinder, Aris is going to be a great potential servant to be that meat grinder. When it comes to Ibuki Doji, I said this in my previous video about the subject. I really do think Ibuki Doji Berserker is the best character that we will receive this year. She's really got it all in terms of crazy attack boosts, crazy damage boosts. She has the ability to crit, she can reduce her own skill cooldown, and she has the ability to get a 30 to 50% NP steroid on an art servant. Some people might hold a little bit of contention with this, especially considering another servant that we'll be talking about in just a moment. But the reason I personally rank Ibuki Doji so highly is, yes, while supports end up pushing her to a basically divine level of damage she is able to deal, Ibuki Doji on her own, with just her own skills, those potencies, those abilities she has just baked into her standard kit make her super powerful just on her own. If you are a newer player looking for an incredibly reliable, incredibly powerful damage dealer, you're going to want to get Ibuki Doji. If you are somebody looking for somebody to shred through your enemy's defensive buffs while dealing a ton of AoE damage, you're going to want Ibuki Doji. If you're looking for someone who is guaranteed to charge their Noble Phantasm to crazy heights despite being an Arts Servant, then follow up with an Arts Crit to guarantee an NP follow-up on the next wave of enemies, you're gonna want Ibuki Doji. There is just so much Ibuki Doji has on offer. I have to imagine that whoever designed her, they are her favorite servant over at the Lightworks. Like, there is love baked into this servant's kit to the point that it is basically game breaking. Ibuki Doji is my personal servant to gun for, mainly for, aesthetic and character reasons. But, I mean, even if that wasn't the case, and this was just a servant with this kit, no matter who it was, I would still be trying to pick this servant up. She is just that crazy. And the final banner comes with the nice wombo combo of Ruler, Summer Skahawk Scotty, and Wu Zetian Caster. This grown-up version of Wu is just better than the previous version of Wu, and that is not a dig at the old Wu Zetian. Old Wu Zetian is very, very strong. She is crazy powerful, able to offer tons of utility to a quick team. This Wu Zetian, however, pretty dang good at giving bonuses to a Buster team, and she is also able to do a pretty solid amount of Buster damage herself. She's got abilities to increase party attack and party Buster performance and party NP generate, which stacks nicely with a Koyan Skya buff, and she can charge NP gauges, she can remove party-wide debuffs, recover party-wide HP, obliterate undead enemies, and has a nice little defense reduction you can use against enemies who survive that first wave from her Noble Phantasm. If they survive, odds are they ain't surviving the follow-up barrage from Ibuki Doji. Her caster Ibuki Doji, Wu Zetian, I've still got Ibuki on the brain. Wu's caster class unfortunately hurts her a little bit because of damage modifiers that exist that the game doesn't tell you about. Casters just innately do less damage, but overall I still don't think it significantly hampers her. She's still a very good servant on a banner filled with great servants in an event filled with great servants. So if you end up summoning her, I wouldn't say you should be disappointed in the slightest. The actual prize on this banner is, of course, Summer Skahawk Scotty. This was my number 2 pick for the best servant coming out this year. If you are somebody who heavily relies on either a particular quick or a particular Buster servant, this is probably the character you're going to want to go for. She grants quick and Buster performance boosts out the wazoo. She is essentially a absolutely upgraded variant of Osakabe Hime, and all of her skills are just crazy critical damage boosts, crazy performance boosts. You get stars, you get attack boosts, you get targeted NP gauge charges and critical star absorptions. It is just absolutely nutty the amount of critical potential that Skahawk Scotty is able to provide in this incarnation. Her Noble Phantasm is a decent damage dealing Noble Phantasm, but it honestly doesn't even matter. You're not going to be using her for that in the slightest. On top of that, her Ruler class also makes it so she is going to take significantly less damage from the vast majority of enemies, allowing her to even stay on the field in prolonged encounters against bosses with multiple break bars and be able to actually take a punch. She can stay to continue to provide support with her skills, even if you don't have those skills leveled all the way up. Overall, Summer Skahawk Scotty, a truly excellent pick, and one people should gun for if they have a quick or Buster servant near and dear to their heart. If that is the case for you, you're probably going to want Skahawk Scotty to support them in the future. Not to say Koyan Sky is obsolete. Maybe, honestly, based on this, maybe Merlin is obsolete, but I will leave that argument for the comments section. Overall, gang, Arctic Summer World is one of the best series of banners we have ever received in FGO. Every single 5-star servant on all of these banners is an absolute powerhouse, and yes, that includes Ashia Doman on top of all of the summer servants. This event is a crazy like balanced destroyer in FGO. We get so many powerful servants that it is just troubling and concerning. It was concerning a couple of years ago when I saw this banner come out, because I was like, what am I going to have to fight in the future of Fate Grand Order that merits characters that are this powerful? And then those things came out, and I was like, oh, that, great. I guess it makes sense that we got these characters. You really can't miss on any of these banners. I still think Ibuki Doji Berserker is going to be the main way to go, followed by Skahawk Scotty Summer and Lady Avalon in that order, but all of these characters are incredibly powerful to the point where it was very, very difficult to rank them when I did my best servants this year list, especially between the likes of Ibuki Doji Berserker and Skahawk Scotty Summer. It was a narrow choice that I agonized about for many a day, but finally came to the conclusion that I did. Let me know which of these banners you're summoning for down in the comments section below. Let me know which of these servants you were most excited for from the summer. 5-star servant, 4-star servant, character, costume. I know a lot of people are really happy about that Young King costume. Doesn't necessarily matter. Just share your excitement down below. As you head into the comments, be sure to check out the Discord, the Patreon, and the Ko-fi. Huge thanks to everyone on all those platforms for their support, and the biggest thanks to you here on YouTube for watching the video to the very end. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next one.